Hey, it's Mary from Vindulge and co-author of Fire and Wine Cookbook, and today we are going to be making our absolute 100% favorite gluten-free pizza dough. We found the secret to making the perfect gluten-free pizza dough, and it comes down to using the perfect flour and hydration ratio. This is a pizza that when we serve it to our gluten-free friends and our kids, they don't even know the difference between the fact that this is gluten-free and a regular dough. It's that good, and we're gonna fill you in on all the secrets. I'm so excited. Are you ready to get started? Let's Vindulge. Two of the most important things to consider are starting with the right gluten-free dough. This recipe uses Caputo Fioreglut flour, which is gluten-free. Second, you need to make sure your yeast is not expired. This is very important, so look on the back of your yeast and check that expiration date. Next, it's important to have a good quality scale in order to accurately measure all of the ingredients. We're going to be measuring out 500 grams of flour, 12 grams of salt, 12 grams of baking powder, 10 grams of xanthan gum, and then 400 grams of warm water. This is going to make for an 80% hydration level. So that means 80% liquid when compared with the amount of flour. So we're going to start with the first fermentation. To start, we need to activate the yeast and let that first rise, or fermentation, happen. So in a large bowl, add your warm water, kosher salt, and yeast. Stir and let that sit for 5 minutes to activate the yeast. Next, add the flour, baking powder, and xanthan gum, and combine that with your hands to get the flour and the liquid to incorporate and form into a rough ball. It's going to be a little sticky at this point, so that's okay. You're going to cover the bowl and then put it in the oven for 30 minutes to start that first fermentation. You want a warm environment for the yeast to thrive. So if your home is too cool, it's going to prevent a good rise. So a good trick that we use is to just turn on the light in your oven and then let the dough rise in the oven with just the light on. That'll create an environment that is just warm enough for that fermentation to start. Then after 30 minutes, remove the bowl from the oven and then take the dough out of the bowl and then shape it into a ball on a lightly floured cutting board and then fold it a few times using a tri-fold method until it is a smooth, round ball. We like to shape the bottom and cup it with our hands just to shape it. And then you're going to place it back into that same bowl and then cover it with plastic wrap. Then place it back into the oven and let it rise for 90 minutes to 2 hours for that first fermentation. The dough ball will expand while the yeast ferments. This is going to create those air pockets that we are looking for. After 90 minutes or so, you can really see how much it's expanded from that first fermentation, right? Now, you're going to gently remove it and we're going to separate it into 3 equal sized balls and let them rise a second time. So once again, you're going to want to use that scale. You can see we are writing just shy of 900 grams here, so we want to measure each dough to be 300 grams each. You can already see the air pockets from that first rise. This dough is looking beautiful. And then we're going to reshape those back into individual shaped dough balls. Unlike the gluten version, you don't really need to knead these dough balls. You're just going to separate them into 3 equal doughs and then gently reform them. Then we're going to transfer those 3 balls into a dough proofing container. You can also use a sheet tray covered with plastic if you don't have a dough proofing container. And then place the covered box back into the oven for at least 2 to 3 more hours. This is the final fermentation where they will rise a second time, giving them additional air pockets. Now that both the fermentation or rising is complete, it's time to make our pizza. You do not need to par bake this dough, which is one of my favorite parts. And you also do not want to roll out your pizza dough using a rolling pin. Absolutely not. That's going to kill those air pockets that you spent hours making. So no rolling pin. We are just going to gently shape the dough using your hands, much like a regular dough, starting from the inside and working your way out. It's going to feel a little bit like Play-Doh, so you wouldn't be able to treat it like if it was a regular gluten dough. You just want to just use your hands, slowly stretch it out. Once it gets big enough, you can kind of pull and stretch it, but you definitely want to avoid touching or stretching those outside edges. Once you have reached about 10 to 12 inches, time to add your toppings and make your pizza. We are going to just make a simple margherita pizza here just to show you, adding a little bit of sauce, a little bit of fresh mozzarella, some fresh basil, and then we are just gonna bake it in our Gosney dome. Just like a regular pizza, it should only take about 2 minutes for this to cook. And then it is done and you are ready to enjoy this beautiful gluten-free pizza. All right, once it comes out, we just like to salt all our pizzas just with a little bit of finishing salt. Then I think it's time to dig in. All right, look at this. You don't see a lot of store-bought pizza doughs look like this. And these bubbles, can you see this dough? Like, it is just so airy. You guys, this is the ultimate gluten-free pizza, I promise you. You need to try it. It is 1,000,000% worth investing in this flour. For all of you out there who have gone gluten-free and you really miss that like pizzeria style dough, that Neapolitan style wood-fired pizza oven pizza, this is the recipe for you. I promise you, you will not even miss 1 gram of gluten. You're gonna love it. So airy and light. It is absolutely not dense like most of those other gluten-free pizzas out there. There you have it. Truly the best gluten-free pizza dough out there. Thank you for watching. For hundreds more recipes and videos, just head to Vindulge.com. Here at Vindulge, we are all about great food, great wine, and great outdoor experiences with your family and friends. Cheers! Oh my God.